Okay, so this is the all-in-one 4-session training for new elementary teachers or elementary teachers new to Canvas. So the purpose of this training session is to prepare you for using Canvas as a daily method of transfer of information starting August 13th when we get back in school. Now, this is being deemed necessary because we will more than likely have some type of distance learning event, either on a smaller or larger scale this year. Specifically for you guys in the classroom, we are going to prepare you for situations where you're going to have a student or a small group of students who are absent for an extended period of time because of illness or quarantine or any other reason. So we have to make sure that they're able to get all of the material that they need so that they can successfully complete the grade or your course. When we did the distance learning situation back in March, April, and May of last year, we received a waiver from the State Department of Education allowing us to simply use those last 5 weeks for review of material already taught. We got waivers on all of our end of the year testing, state assessments, that type of thing. We will not be receiving that this year. So no matter what, we have to be responsible for teaching the children the information that they need to be successful next year. But that's obviously going to look different. Last year, elementary schools were allowed to do paper packets to the students. Secondary schools were using online curriculum, but not every student had access to an online or a smart device. So it was really difficult. So that was one of the reasons that we received the waivers. So this year, we have allowed 3 different options for parents to choose. Option 1 is school as normal. So children come to school with or without a mask. That's not my decision. They learn in the classroom. That school day is going to look a little bit different, but they will be in the building and doing face-to-face learning. So for that, we really don't have to change anything too much. I'm going to skip the second option for a second. The third option is what we have always called IBI, or internet-based instruction at Moore Public Schools. It's now called the Moore Virtual Academy, and that uses a software program called OdysseyWare. So those students who choose option 3 will not come into the building, will not be accessing you for curriculum. They will be using OdysseyWare from grade 3 and up. Now, pre-K to 3rd grade or pre-K to 2nd grade is a little bit different, and that's going to kind of fall under that option 2. So option 2, some people are calling it blended learning. It's not really blended learning because it is not going to be, oh, I want to come to school on Monday and Tuesday, but not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is for students who medically cannot be in the building. So in order to apply for option 2, you have to justify a medical reason why you cannot be in the building for, short to semi-extended periods of time. If you have a medical condition that says that you can never be in the building, then you're going to more than likely be on option 3. And we do have some students who have chosen that because they have family members who are immune compromised or have pre-existing conditions. So they're just going to do option.
I can't figure out how come I can't hear it. Says it's muted, but I can't figure out how to.
Okay, so one of the things that we are going to do is we are going to prepare to teach students that are in front of us and students that are occasionally at home. Okay, Joseph, you have your hand raised. Let me go ahead and unmute you. Hold on just a second. You'll need to unmute yourself. There you go.
When I signed in, I wanted to make sure you got my name in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry. Okay, so option 2 is going to look different for everybody. But basically, we're going to treat them as absent students. So normally, if you had a student that was absent for the day, you would have a little basket of absent work. When they came back the next day or 2 or 3 days later, you would have their work already photocopied and ready for them to go. And You would hand it to them and you would give them 1 day for every day that they were absent to get that work completed. We are not going to have that opportunity. We don't want them to have to come back in or wait until they come back in to get their materials. So if a student is home because they are seriously ill, obviously they're not going to be able to do the work at that time, but we still want to provide it to them so that as they start feeling better, they can get that work caught up. We're also going to have situations where students are quarantined but not sick, so they are perfectly capable of completing the material as we go along, and that will prevent them from getting behind. Now, when you think about absent work, if you are teaching a class and maybe you do 3 activities with the students a day for 5th grade science, not all of those activities are going to go into your absent folder. If you have something that's going to be graded, obviously that would go into the absent folder, but not everything is going to be required to be completed for absent work. So that's kind of be the litmus test for what all has to be on Canvas and what doesn't. So for instance, think about a kindergarten class. You guys have to keep these kids occupied from the second they come in all day, 6 hours. There's no way that you're going to have an online kindergarten student sitting in front of a computer for 6 hours. So we want to make sure that anything that we give these students to complete online can be done in, age appropriate amount of time. So it may be watching a few videos and then recording themselves saying their ABCs to make sure that they're keeping up with that skill. On the 2nd grade level, it may be showing them a couple of steps on how to do some addition and then having them work some addition problems out on their own pieces of paper. So it's going to look a little bit different for everybody. More public schools allows teacher autonomy, so we are not asking you to change how you teach or what you teach. We're simply asking you to provide a little bit of digital information transfer. So I'm going to show you what that looks like real quick as we start talking about the Canvas LMS. So I'm going to pause for just a second. Are there any questions about the 3 different options that students will be able to choose? And I've allowed you to unmute yourselves if you need to. Or you can just put the comment in the chat box if you feel more comfortable doing that. Okay.
Wendy, can I ask a question? The people that are strictly online, that's going to go through Vista though, right? That won't go through us.
Odyssey-ware, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We are dealing with the people that are on campus or that are sick and at home, but they're still. Yep. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question about if I wanted to video my lecture.
Yep.
Right. And I know that you had sent out some emails.
Yeah, I will walk through that in
okay.
Section 3.
Is that 3? Okay.
Yep.
Right. Sounds good.
Great questions. Okay. So let me go ahead. I'm going to share your screen and we're going to start talking about the Canvas LMS system. So LMS stands for Learning Management System. This does not replace Infinite Campus. And from here on out, I'm going to refer to it as IC, just to keep the Canvas confusion to the miss. Okay, here's a great question. If they miss just 1 day for non-medical reasons, do we still need to put online? That is going to be kind of a yes and a no. It would be easy for them to do it online, and it would be something that you can help them to stay on track so that they don't come back in and get behind. So I used Canvas all last year at the secondary level, and when a student was absent for any reason, that material was online. So when they came back, I simply said, they would come up, Mrs. Argenbright, what did I miss yesterday? And the entire class in unison would say, check the Canvas, because everybody knew that the assignments were posted there. Now for the secondary level, that's probably something that I can expect. Depending upon your grade level, you may not be able to expect that. So if you've got a kindergartner who is absent for 1 day, you're not going to ask their parent to go through the entire process of setting up Canvas and submitting online assignments. So I would call that an age-appropriate response, what you feel your students are ready for. However, a 6th grader, if a 6th grader misses a Friday for, a family trip or something, they should be completely able to log into your Canvas and do those activities so that they're not behind on Monday. So again, that's part of kind of that teacher autonomy, but yes, that's a great question. Okay, so Canvas is a learning management system. It does not replace Infinite Campus. IC is still our records program. So IC is a student information system. So it contains enrollment information, health information, IEPs, flags, grades, attendance, all of the stuff that we report to the state is still going to be in IC. Canvas is simply another way for you to get information to the students. As you learn Canvas, even at the elementary level, it is going to start making your job easier. And you are going to find ways where you really, really are not going to be able to live without Canvas after you get through it. But just like learning anything else, it has a really heavy front load. It's going to require a lot of work to get it set up. Do it bits and pieces at a time. And as you get more comfortable with it, add more stuff to it. And eventually you're really going to enjoy using this, even at the lower levels. So how do you access Canvas? So we are going to start, I'm going to log out so that I can show you the full process for logging in. Okay, so you're going to go to the school's website, moreschools.com. And it doesn't matter if it sends you to the More page or if it sends you to your individual school. I know if you're accessing this on a school computer, it might send you to your site-specific website. Still going to be fine. Over here on the right side of the screen, if you can see that, there are 3 lines in a circle. That's called our flyout menu. So the websites are very interactive, but we still have to have kind of our standard text-based instructions. So clicking on this is going to send you back to that normal looking website. And we're going to come over here, and underneath this search bar, there are 7 circles. And each of these circles are kind of considered your quick links for all school-based items. So as you go through here, several of these you've already done. This is the personnel, this is the Find My Bus, this is how you pay for students' lunches, the district calendar. Now Clever, you should have already been using and modeling for your students. We are still going to use Clever. You are still going to be able to use Seesaw. So those 2 things are not changing. We're going to show you how to integrate those into your Canvas. Office 365. If you are not using Office 365, I highly encourage you to. Real quick, I'm just going to hit on this. So when you log into Office 365, it's going to take you to your home page. You'll have to log in if you're not already. But this is your cloud-based file storage system. So the OneDrive right here is your cloud. So if you have files that are on a flash drive, or if you have files that are on your home laptop but not your school laptop, or please don't tell your site tech this, but maybe you have some files saved on your desktop, it would really behoove you to upload those into the OneDrive. And the reason for that is that once they're here, not only are they secure and backed up, but they are also accessible from any computer at any site. So if you walk into even your neighbor's classroom and you want to share a file with them, you can access this on their computer using this OneDrive account. So especially as we get into situations where you don't know if you're going to be working from home one day or school the next, having all of your files in a location that you can access them is going to be amazing. Now, the second reason that you should use this is because of this little button right here, Install Office. Every educator, every student in Moore Public Schools is allowed 5 free installations of the entire Office suite. So if you are currently paying a monthly subscription for any type of Office application, stop immediately and install this onto your home computer. You don't have to do this on the school computers, it's already there, but you can install the entire Office 365 suite onto your laptop or your desktop. If you have students at Moore Public Schools, they can do it as well. So make sure that you do that. And that way you can not only access all of your files, but you can edit and manipulate all of your files as well. Okay, so that's my little Office 365 plug. Now, the Canvas is going to be in that last green circle underneath the 3-bar flyout menu. When you access Canvas, it's going to take you to a standard login page. This is the login page everybody sees: students, parents, teachers, staff, admin, everybody. So there are 2 options to sign in right now. If you are a current Moore Public Schools teacher and you currently have a Moore Public Schools email account, you are going to log in using student teacher login with your @mooreschools.com and your standard computer login. If you are a new hire and you do not yet have a mooreschools.com email address, then I'm going to ask you to put your name in the chat room so that we can get you set up with an account. And we're just going to give you an account through your personal email address. So make sure you put in your personal email address, or you can email that to me separately if you don't want to put it in the chat. And you are going to go through the parent guardian login. Just because you're not linked to our IC yet, don't worry. Anything that you create, any courses that you do within that personal email account, we will eventually transfer over to your Moore Schools account once personnel gets that all set up, okay? So for the majority of us, we're going to log in through student teacher login. We're going to use our standard Moore Schools email and ID. And when you open up Canvas, it's going to take you to what we call the dashboard. So that's where we're going to start today. We're just going to kind of park it on the dashboard. Now, if you take a look at this, all of these are courses that I have created myself. So, or I have enrolled from other courses. So this is a course that I created, or my department created, called the Geometry Distance Learning. So none of these that you're seeing right now are student courses. These are courses that I've created for various reasons, or I've enrolled in for various reasons. Now, when you get here, you're going to have one of two options. You are either going to be a student or a teacher. And it is very important that we make sure that you are a teacher and not a student. So the easiest way to determine that is to come down to the little notebook. Okay, so on the left, we have our main navigation system. And there's a little notebook, and it is the icon for courses. So you're going to click that icon. You're going to come down and find all courses. And you're going to check and see if you see this plus course. If you see this plus course, Canvas knows you're a teacher and everything is good. If you do not see this plus course, it's because Canvas thinks you're a student. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. Just go ahead and put your name in the comment section, in the chat section. State that you need, or you can email MPS EdTech. I'll put that email down here as well. Send an email to MPS EdTech. Tell them that you're listed as a student in Canvas instead of a teacher, and we can get that fixed without any problems at all. Okay, now, so back on the dashboard, these are all published courses and unpublished courses that I choose to be on my dashboard. So as you create courses, they're going to show up here. If you go to the course tab and click on all courses, you can choose which courses show up on your dashboard and which ones you kind of keep back a little bit. So if you're working on just one or two, you can go ahead and unstar. Think of it like unfavoriting anything that you don't want on your main course, okay? As you start getting student accounts, you will have a section called past enrollments. And that is going to be where, so for instance, I've been doing Canvas for 2 years. So these are all of my student courses that I've done in the past. It saves those for me. So anything that you create this year, you will be able to use next year and copy that over. So as we do this, start thinking of ways that this is going to make things easier. Once you get this format done and your files uploaded, you can reuse that material in subsequent years. Okay. All right. So the first step in starting Canvas is to create your own course. So from this menu, we're going to click on plus course, and we're going to learn a new term, and it's called sandbox. Now, if you're a kid, you play in a sandbox. If you're a teacher, you play in your Canvas sandbox. So you do not have to call it sandbox. It's just what Canvas refers to as your practice course. You can think about it as a master course that you're going to use to copy into your student courses. You can use this to switch around and have people work with you. You can add teachers to your course. So the term sandbox just basically is anything that is not a student course is considered a sandbox. Okay, so we're going to call this our elementary training sandbox. Okay, now we're going to leave this private. This is only going to be for you to access. Your students will not see this. Your other teachers will not see this. It will not go into the Canvas Commons. This is just for you. Okay, we do not want to make the course publicly visible. We want to keep this kind of private for right now as we learn. So we're going to create that course, and you will see now I have a blank Canvas course. All right. I want everybody to do that tonight. You don't have to add anything in there. You can go ahead and just leave it blank, but I need everybody to make sure that today they go ahead and create a sandbox course. Again, it doesn't matter what you name it, but go ahead and we'll have time for you guys to do this after session 1. All right. Now, continuing down with these main navigation items, we're going to go to the calendar. So we've done the dashboard. That's where you're going to log in initially. It's where you see all of the courses that you are enrolled in or you've created. This course notebook is going to give you all of the courses, not just those in your dashboard, but even past courses or courses that you've unfavorited. And now we are on the calendar. So this is something that looks very familiar to you guys. We're going to kind of handle it in one of 2 ways. So you have access to the calendar for all of the classes that you create and all of the classes that you are enrolled in. Your students will also have access to their calendar. So when a student logs into Canvas, they will be able to look at the calendar for any given day and see what assignments are due and what assignments need to be done. So here is an event that we've created for these 3 days. And so you know that this event exists, the students know. This calendar is going to be how they keep track of things on your, in your courses. Now, you can have all of your calendars put, just like any other calendar, you can choose which calendars are visible and which calendars are not. So as you do this, if you have multiple courses, let's say that you are a specials teacher, and you have a course for every homeroom teacher and every grade level, we're going to show you how to combine those. But even if you have multiple ones, you can look at each calendar one at a time by unhighlighting the rest of them. The students can do the same thing. You can also take a look at your calendar by the week. So this might be easier for you to lay out. You can also look at your calendar as an agenda. And so it's simply going to show you the things that are due in order, kind of like a to-do list. Okay. And so anywhere you see this little plus button, anywhere in Canvas, that's going to be the create button. So you can create assignments within your calendar. So let's go back to the month. So let's say that you're planning the first day of school and you're not 100% sure what your Canvas page is going to look like, but you know that on August 13th, we are going to teach procedures to our students. Okay, so I would click August 13th and I'm going to add a new event. So I can add an event which is just an informational. I can add an assignment. So let's say I need them to do the All About Me worksheet. So that's going to be my assignment. It's going to be due the next day. So I can put August 14th as the due date. I can choose which class it goes in. So let's say I want to put it in my sandbox for right now. And then I'm going to sync this to Infinite Campus. This part right here is going to make your life easier. And we're going to publish it. So now we have created an assignment within the sandbox, and it shows up on the calendar. So this may be your first step in planning. You have your lesson plan in front of you. You have your sandbox created, and you just start adding in things. Now, what we're doing here is we are creating shells. So this assignment, All About Me, that I'm creating, that's just the shell of the assignment. I'm basically giving it a placeholder, and I'm planning. And what makes this really great is as you're doing this, you can move stuff around. You can say, well, maybe I want to do the All About Me on the 14th and have it due on Monday. I can just drag it around. Or maybe this assignment here that I gave on the 15th, maybe I don't want it due on Friday, I want it due on Wednesday. So this is just where you're going to do your organization. You can create shells for assignments or quizzes or announcements. And this is going to give you that lesson plan view, and it'll even work when you use the agenda or the weekly view so that you can kind of plan your week. And remember, not everything has to be on Canvas. If you want something completed by the students, it should be on Canvas. Okay. All right. Now, underneath here, we have the inbox. Okay, it looks like an envelope with a letter sticking out. This is your Canvas-based email. Let's see, there was a question in the chat room. Are we supposed to have assignments as an option? You are. If you do not, Holly, I'll go ahead and check your account. Make sure you may be listed as a student right now, so we can definitely get that set up. Okay, so there's several different ways that you can communicate with students. In the past, especially at the elementary level, you mainly used apps like ClassDojo, ClassRemind, or you use the Infinite Campus, the IC Messenger system. So the Messenger system only went out to parent contact information. So for instance, parents' email, their text, or a landline dialer. Those are the only ways that you can communicate through IC, is through the parent contact information. There's no way to contact a student directly using IC. Now, if you had your students use something like ClassDojo or Remind, you can still use those apps. We are not going to ask you to stop doing anything that works for you. Those are still great ways to communicate with parents and teachers. But you can also communicate using this inbox. Now, this inbox is going to allow you to send email to anyone who is using a Canvas system. So for instance, if I wanted to start and compose a new email, I would use the standard old pencil paper compose icon. I would select a course. So once you have student courses, your student courses would come up here as well. Okay, so for instance, it's not going to show me my old ones, but here's the MPS elementary training course. Here's my elementary training sandbox. So this is the one that we just created. So I want to send it to all of the students that are in there. Now, I can send it to individual students. I can send it to the teachers, but there's also going to be a new term that you're going to use, and it's called observer. So an observer is anybody who has paired with a student account. So in the past, in order for parents to get access to Parent Portal, which is basically the parent access to Infinite Campus, they would have to come in and show their identification and get this crazy long security code and punch it in. They don't have to do that to pair with their Student Canvas account. They are going to log in, have their child log in, generate a pairing code, and then that gives them access directly to their students as an observer. So when you compose a message, you're going to see students, you're going to see teachers, and you're also going to see observers. And when you see that, just know that those are your grown-ups who are paired with those accounts. On the elementary level, I'm not sure you're going to have a lot of observers. I think parents are just going to log in using their student's Canvas account just because they're going to have to log in for the students anyway. So it's probably not going to make that big of a deal. When you get into 5th and 6th grade, then you're definitely going to want to see if you can get all of your parents on as observers so that you can get that direct communication. And then you just send this as a normal email. You can attach a file. You can attach a video. You can type a message. These do not have restrictions like Remind. So you're not limited to 140 characters. You don't have to send 3 reminds in a row to get your entire message across. So these are really good ways to communicate. You can also, where it says send an individual message to each recipient, you can use that, and that allows them to reply back just to you instead of reply all. So those are just different things that you can kind of experiment with and play with on your inbox. But this is Canvas communication. You can still email parents directly. You can still use IC Messenger to send messages to parents, the missing assignment reports, the failing reports, all of that. You can still use Remind in Class Dojo. This is just another form of communication you can have. Now that I've said that we have another form of communication, we need to make sure that we receive all of those communications. So we are actually going to set up notifications for our account, because as it is right now, anything that happens in Canvas stays in Canvas. There's no way for Canvas to notify you of new assignments, new contact, new communication, new announcements. So you're going to come back up here to your account profile up at the top. And you can change a lot of these. You can add a profile picture. You can create an e-portfolio. When I say e-portfolio, some of you guys who've been teaching for a while called it building your house. Those are going to be your artifacts if you need them for your TLE. So that is an e-portfolio that you can create on your own. But we're going to come up here to notifications. All right, now, I don't know about you, but I like to get notified of important things, but I absolutely hate it when my phone just starts blowing up for any and every notification. So be a little bit discerning as you come in here and you set up these notifications. Now, for the most part, all of your notifications are going to be for your email address. If you want, you can add a cell phone number so that you can get text messages, but be very limited on what you put your cell phone number on, because Canvas will generate a notification for everything. Amy has turned in an assignment. Amy has commented on an email. You have a new inbox message. So you'll notice that if you want, you can do more in the email addresses than you do in the cell phone numbers. Now go through here. If a due date has changed and you want to know, that's fine. I really don't care about these. Some of the things that you're going to want to be made aware of are announcements. So for instance, if you're the district or one of your administrators sends out an announcement to you, you're going to want to be notified. Okay. You are also maybe want to be notified if you have a blueprint course that you're an owner of. So some of these curriculum coordinators that creating blueprints, you may want to be notified when they change your blueprint. You may want to be notified when there is a discussion post. If you use discussions, you're probably not going to. We used conversations up at the high school. Let's see, we're not going to use conferences. Administrative notifications, you're probably going to want to make sure that that is turned on, and then global announcements. Okay. Content link editors are going to be kind of good if you have, if you're brand new, you're not really sure what you're doing and you want to know, okay, something didn't work, then you can turn on your content link errors. Okay. So go through here and set these notifications the way that you want, kind of play with them a little bit. These right here are the notifications for your inbox. Okay, so when you receive a new inbox email from a student or a parent or another teacher, this is how you're going to get notified, because these emails don't come through your Moore Public Schools email account. They come through your Canvas. So these are really good ones to have as contacts, or you'll find yourself with 5 new inboxes and you never understood what it was. Okay, now if you'll notice, there are some different icons up here. So the check mark is notify me right away. So if you have the check mark, then it's going to send you an email as soon as an announcement goes out. If you have the clock checked instead of the check mark, then it's going to send you a daily summary. So at the end of the day, it's going to send you one email with all of the different announcements or inboxes or communication notifications that you have turned on. And then the last one is send a weekly summary. So there may be some things that you want a weekly summary of, but you don't need to be notified at every single moment. So just kind of use those to set it up. And then this one is send me nothing. And for the most part, most of these are going to be send me nothing, just because you're going to be in Canvas every day. Okay, excellent. Now, continuing going through here, you can set up your profile for your account. So this is where you can add contact information and a short little biography. You can add links. So if you have a LinkedIn, or if you have an ePortfolio, or if you have another website that you use for one of your coaching activities, you can always add stuff like that here. Files is where you're going to store your personal files. This is kind of not course related, but these are all of the files for your Canvas. So if you want, this might be a good place for you to start if you're uploading information. So let's say you've got all of your files electronically on your computer and you want to get them onto Canvas so that you can access them. This is kind of like the OneDrive for Canvas. So you would just click this upload button and you can add any particular file to your Canvas. This doesn't attach it to anything. This just allows you to be able to access it in the future as you're building your Canvas content, okay? And this is set up just like File Explorer. You can add new folders. You can add new subfolders. You can organize these. You can change the order and how they're sorted. So there's a lot of different things. You can take a file here, okay? And you can rename it, you can move it, you can download it, you can share it to Commons, all of the same types of things that you've had in the past, okay? So you will need to put some files into the Canvas system so that they can easily be linked. It's not going to link directly to your Office 365 account, so you will have to kind of mitigate and move stuff over as you need it. All right, so going back to there, these are your personal settings. So these are the settings for your actual account. So you can go in here and you can add services. This information here is already set up by the school department, so you won't be able to do anything like that. But these are just, you know, some of the things that have been integrated. This is pretty much automatic. These are third-party applications that we allow. You can add contact information here. So this is where you would add your cell phone if you wanted to get notifications via cell phone, or if you wanted to add an additional email address. Maybe during the summer you don't check your More Schools email address, you can add that here, okay? All right, pretty much that's it for the notification sections. Okay, so continuing on, we've done our account settings, we've done the dashboard, we've looked at our courses, we've looked at the calendar, we've looked at the inbox. Now we're going to take a look at Canvas Commons, all right? Are we able to change your display name? That was a question in the chat room. I'm not certain about whether or not you have access to that or if that's just an admin feature, but if you want to put a little comment in there, I can see it might be something that we can change a display name. I know it's really difficult to change our email addresses at More Public Schools, but the display name I might have a little bit more leeway with, so I will definitely check on that one. Okay, so Canvas Commons is a place for teachers all over the world to share information through Canvas. Think of it as a teacher pay teacher, but everything on here is free. Now, that's great in that if there's any content on here, you don't have to pay for it. But like all free things, that means that you're not always going to find courses on here that are teacher pay teacher quality. Some is just intermediate processes or starter pages, so they may not be completed. But this is a really great way to be to go out this afternoon or tonight and just kind of explore some content, because right now the biggest question all of you have is, where do I start? What's it supposed to look like? Do I use the home page? I've seen all this Bitmoji classroom page, Google Slides. What can I do? How do I get started? So this is a really good place to go and figure out where to get started, okay? So these are all courses that have been set up by different people. And you can see that they have some information. Some of these are quizzes. Some of them are entire courses. Some are just a single module within a course. You can see the grade level. Be very careful. If it says all grades, very rarely is it all grades. Obviously, this is a 5th grade course. So just watch out for those all grades. That's just someone who didn't put the grade restrictions in there. You can see how many times this course has been downloaded and how many times it's been favorited. So sometimes a really good way to do this is to come up here to the sort and do most favorited. And let everybody else tell you with their reviews, okay? So these are Growing with Canvas. These are courses that admin can add that walks you through setting up your sites. I wouldn't worry about these for right now because we kind of have our own training that we've done through Canvas. But here's some good ones. Here's Passport to Canvas. Here's an elementary homepage template, okay? That's obviously been very downloaded because, you know, that's a great place to start. Here's Using Canvas During a School Closure, K through 12. This was actually created by Instructure is the company name for Canvas. So this was created by Canvas. So this is a great place to come in and look at grid layouts. Let's see, here's the psychology course for high school. Here's another custom homepage template that you can use in your course. So these are just great places to go and kind of explore. So I would highly suggest that you kind of come through these. So let's do this one. I'm going to use Canvas during a school closure. All right, so that's a great one. It's probably intended to be created by an admin and added through, but we're just going to go ahead and put this in our elementary training sandbox. Okay, so we're going to choose which course we want to copy it into. And we're going to import this into the course. Now, when we go back to our dashboard, and we find our elementary training sandbox, we're going to come in here to the modules and we'll be able to see all of the modules for that. Oh, this one's a long one. It's just taking a little while to transfer over. Okay, so it may take a couple of minutes to transfer over, but that course will now be in our sandbox. Okay, so that's a good way to get information off of the Canvas Commons. All right, now this little help button right here is the most important thing that you do today. So I want everybody to write this down. You are going to need help. At the end of these courses, you are not going to be a Canvas expert. There are very few Canvas experts, even within more public schools. There are some amazing Canvas teachers, okay? So find the amazing Canvas teacher at your site, but you're going to have questions over the summer. These Canvas guides are probably one of the best resources that I have found, and there are a lot of resources out there. So if you click on that, that's going to take you to the Canvas main website, and all of these are different ways that you can get help directly from Canvas. If you're a video person, you might want to go to the video guides. I don't like videos because I'm a little bit too impatient for that. I don't want to sit through a 10-minute video when I only need about 30 seconds of information from it. So I actually prefer to use the Canvas guides. And one of the greatest things about this is this search field. So as you are going through and trying to figure out all of this new stuff, I want you to search the guides. So if we're in one of the trainings and I mention a homepage and you're not sure what a homepage is, type in homepage. How do I use the course homepage as a student? How do I use the course homepage as an instructor? How do I change the course homepage? How do I show announcements in the homepage? And each of these is a PDF style lesson, and it's all image based. So it's going to take you, you go to your homepage on your course. This is going to be your homepage. This is how you can change the homepage. All of your instructions are step by step, very visual. Everything that it mentions in the instructions is highlighted in this maroon, so you know exactly what it's talking about. If there's multiple things referenced, then it numbers them 1 and 2. This is an absolute amazing resource. If you are just getting started, this is a really good way to just get that absolute detail. And one of the great things I like about the guides is that it shows you examples of what it will look like once you have students. Right now, you have no students. You don't have your rostered course yet. So it's kind of hard to get a picture of what it's all going to look like. Well, these examples are examples that show actual courses with students and with assignments and with information. And so it gives you a really good idea of what you're looking at. Okay, so again, click on the question mark, click on search the Canvas guides, and then you can either search for something specific or you can click on the Canvas guides directly and look at it in an indexed form. All right, so here's the instructor guide. And absolutely everything you need to know about Canvas is in here, okay? Taking attendance, creating assignments, using the chat feature, using discussions, posting grades, using the inbox. When it says outcomes, that means standards. So whenever you want to do standards-based grading or creating a rubric, they've got a section on rubrics. Use these guides. I'm going to give you a very brief overview of a bunch of stuff in these 4 courses. These guides will take you absolutely through all of the details and how to use in an everyday class. So these are absolutely beneficial. Okay, another thing that I would like for you to do, same thing, under the question mark, I want you to come down here to Training Services Portal. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. Under the question mark for help, same page where we get the Canvas guides, down at the bottom is a link for Training Services Portal. This is where you can take a Canvas course that teaches you how to create a Canvas course. So again, more detail than I can give you in these 4 sessions. These are video-based, and it is a Canvas course. So walking through this is actually going to kind of show you how they're situated. So it's cards, just like you've seen. And I want you to look at the K-12 First Day Ready. So question mark, Training Services Portal, K-12 First Day Ready. When you start this course, it's going to enroll, and you're going to see it has different stages, okay? So this is the pathway. This is going to be kind of like the course syllabus. This is going to show you how to open Canvas. So I've already showed you how to do that for more public schools. This shows you how to create a Canvas course. We've already walked through creating your own sandbox. So this is what I want you to work on either during your lunch today or this evening. This is module 4. Okay, it's about an hour course, and it's going to show you how to do assignments and assessments. So obviously this is going to be something very beneficial to you as you're creating your Canvas course. So I would like for you guys to use this as your backup training module. Okay, so, and one more thing, actually I'm going to wait till the second session to do this next step, just because I want you to create your Canvas course first. So we are going to log off here in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to give you about a 10-minute break before we start the second session so that you can, monitor your children, who I know are still at home. Go to the bathroom, get something to eat, whatever you need to do. But if you can, I would like for you to go ahead and create your Canvas sandbox, okay? So go to that course icon, go to all courses, and hit plus course. Now, if you're still listed as a student, I'll see if I can get through some of those. Okay, here's a good question. Should we create a sandbox for each course we teach? You can, absolutely. You can put everything into one sandbox, or to keep things organized, you can create as many sandboxes as you want. All of that content will easily be converted into your student course once you get those. So that's a great idea. Okay, so if you guys can, go ahead and create your first Sandbox course. That solidifies to Canvas that you are actually a teacher before we go to the next step. All right, very good. So if you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and stay on the chat room for the next 10 minutes, but we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to pause the screen share and we will meet back here at 10 o'clock. Okay, so